What's going on, everyone? Just want to record another short video heading to the finals. I wasn't going to do this. I think I was going to hold off and wait until my brother and I do a video later in the week previewing the final between the Oilers and Panthers. But I've been following a lot of the narrative out there that's been building now about the finals. Obviously, there's a lot of attention toward the Oilers because of McDavid and Draisaitl and the team that they have and the run that they've been on since they fired their coach, which has been really good. Obviously the Canadian media, it's all over it. But also funny enough, because I think the Panthers so far have been noted as the favorites by a lot of the betting places. Some pundits have talked about the Panthers being a complete team and all that. I've seen a lot of Oilers fans in the comment sections in a lot of different places talking about how the Oilers are dismissed, how nobody watches Western hockey, how people are sleeping on the Oilers, how they have Mike Jesus and Draisaitl and Shaq Hyman and all that stuff, and how the Panthers don't know what's coming and all the scoring. This is part of the banter going into the finals, and my brother and I try to stick more with try to inform ourselves, look at the numbers, kind of follow different teams. But I have been following the Oilers, not just this season, but for the last few years. I'm a fan of hockey. I'm a fan of the game. How can you not be a fan of McDavid as a player and Draisaitl and the team? I've seen them win series. I've seen them fall short. And I am very aware of the history of the Oilers franchise. And obviously, the team of Gretzky and all the Cups in the 80s and up to 1990. I know been to the finals in 2006, I think, against Carolina, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the Panthers don't have anywhere near that pedigree, obviously. But it's the NHL. So things equal now. Both teams have earned being here. The Panthers were there last year. I've done something really hard to do, which is to lose the final and come back the next year and do it again and get to the final again. So all to say, I feel like the Panthers team franchise, with the work that they've done and even their fan base, have now earned a bit more respect, I'm hoping. And kind of enter the conversation in the East and in the NHL as a contender, and hopefully a franchise with Cito at the helm, who just got an extension, became president, I think, to be more stable going forward. And Maurice has sort of brought a new culture. I say all of that as a preamble to basically say that I'm going to get a little bit sort of emotional and kind of fan focused here with some quick takes. I'm going to keep this short. Based again on what I'm seeing, I'm getting myself ramped up for the final. Getting sort of ramped up to not be to not root for any other team or any other fan base other than the Panthers and this team and the team that we've been following for a long time. And I just want to point out a few things that I've noticed that I think people are I think especially Oilers fans are sort of ignoring or not taking into account. And I would say the argument goes both ways, saying that, nobody watches the Oilers, Western hockey, in the East, there's East Coast bias and all this stuff, American bias. Well, I would also say that goes both ways, in the sense that I don't think you guys have really watched the Panthers based on what I'm seeing in the comments, based understanding what the Panthers have done, not just this season, last season, the kind of team that they are, the kind of teams that they have to go through to get here and how they play. So I'm just going to point a few things out. Some people talked about the scoring, how the Oilers are a juggernaut in scoring and all of that. And I know that that's kind of true and it looks that way, but who has more goals in the playoffs so far than McDavid? Barkov and Reinhart and Bennett, who's only played in 12 games. And who has the same amount of goals? Kachuk, and I know David is known more for the assists and all that. I'm not trying to take that away. He is going to go up against Barkov, the best two-way center in the league. Lundell, who is not far behind, even though he's very young. If anybody knows Lundy, he is an elite two-way center and great on the defensive end, and it's not going to make it easy for McDavid or any other center on the team, on the Oilers. And then Sam Bennett, you'll know, he's going to hit you. He's going to get into it. It's not going to let you might score on him, but if you do, it's going to hurt a little bit. So they're going to have to go against a pretty strong center sort of roster for the Panthers, who don't mind playing defense, who don't mind hitting, who don't mind stealing pucks and then going the other way, and who are not going to make the life easy for everybody to make passes and just float around. The other thing I think that gets ignored is that the Panthers have gone through Vasilevsky and Swayman, who was elite and a really good defensive system by the Bruins that was really hard to get shots on. and the Rangers team where Igor Shesterkin had it was friggin' incredible what he did. And yet we got a ton of chances, against a team that like to attack a bit more. There's this misconception that the Panthers are just defensive or physical or whatever. Like, that's part of the game, but the Panthers can attack. The Panthers can score. The Panthers get a lot of shots on goal. They're not afraid to keep coming at you over and over and over. Your team is the one that has not faced at all, not with the Kings, who are like the second weakest team in the playoffs outside of the Caps, not with Vancouver, who was kind of a ghost of a team, barely got shots on goal. Only their defense hits. Like, most of their forwards don't do anything in terms of physicality. And in Dallas, who doesn't hit also at all, doesn't really forecheck, who turns it over a lot, who overpasses, has a lot of young guys. You're going to get a team that's going to forecheck you to death, like CZ and Bouchard and Nurse and Kulak and Ekholm. They're going to have to keep moving the puck out quick again and again and again. They're going to get hit again and again and again. They're going to have to clear the front of the net again and again and again. It's not going to be that pretty overpassing that Dallas does at the blue line, a bunch of nights, 17 giveaways a game. Panthers are not going to do that. They're going to dump in, and they're going to hurt you, and they're going to chase, and they're going to make you make a quick, smart play. And I have to say, your defense ain't known for that. So we'll see how it goes. But I don't think you understand the relentlessness that you're about to experience in the way that the Panthers play in your zone on the forecheck, in the neutral zone, and on defense. And I'm not saying that they're going to win the series. I'm not saying that Oilers don't have a chance. You've got the best player in the world. Of course you have a chance. But all I'm saying is that from a whole bias, they don't really watch my team. I don't think you've watched the Panthers if you don't understand that this is by far the hardest team you're going to face in these playoffs. You have not faced anything close to these. Not as deep, not as organized, not as disciplined, not as experienced, not as hungry. I don't think you understand the kind of a machine that the Panthers are, which is the best way to describe it. The other thing I want to sort of talk about is the goaltending. Yes, Skinner has been, pretty good, better, solid, put up good numbers the last series. Again, look at who we face. Look at who we had to go through. Swayman put up ridiculous numbers. Igor put up ridiculous numbers. We still won the series. We don't mind being behind. We don't mind being in tight games. We don't mind going to overtime. We're going to keep attacking your goalie. We're going to keep attacking, getting shots on. And when we steal the puck and you turn the puck over, which the Oilers do, have a lot of giveaways, we're going to go the other way, and we're going to hurt you as we did against the Rangers, and we've done against other teams. The Panthers can play offense. They can rush too. They have scorers. Again, I pointed out the McDavid thing as an example. I mean, even if you looked at Draisaitl, 6 of his 10 goals on the power play. And I know that that's your bread and butter, but we don't take a lot of penalties in the playoffs, the Panthers. We haven't done that, and I guarantee you we're not going to take that many in the finals. And we have a pretty good, not streaky penalty kill like you've had the last few games, which have been surprising. The Panthers have had an elite penalty kill unit most of the season into the playoffs. So it just won't be as easy to get your cookies in the power play, maybe. And that's going to mean that you're going to have to score at 5-on-5, where Draisaitl and New York Hopkins only combined for 6 goals in 18 games so far at 5-on-5. So that's where the series get played, and the Panthers are elite at 5-on-5. That's where we get actually a lot of our shots and chances. And guess what? Our power play is pretty good too. Look at the regular season, look at the playoffs. Not too bad. We may not be in the 30%. Listen, Rangers were in the 30% when they came into our series. So again, you have the players, you have the talent. I'm not trying to dismiss that. It's not going to be an easy series. It's going to be hard. They need to be locked in. I'm just saying, I think I know what's coming. I know the Oilers are dangerous. I know you have an elite power play. I know you have all the skill level with McDavid. Your top 2 lines are really good. I also know you like a little bit of depth in your bottom 6 for sure. I know your defense can provide a lot of good offense. You guys are big. You can play the physical game. I don't think the Panthers are going to try to fight or whatever. But I don't know that your defense has really faced this kind of forechecking at all. In the West, during the regular season in the playoffs, is a lot more open. It's a lot less physical. Outside of Vegas, it just tends to be a lot less physical. Look at the East. Look at the Atlantic. It's a grind. It's a meat grinder. They hit you and hit you and hit you. Look at the hit numbers for the Panthers and Panthers and Lightning, Panthers and Bruins. The Rangers not as much in terms of number, but there were some really big hits. I know you've got Nurse. You got some big defensemen. I know Nurse loves to hit. Listen, we faced Trouba, who was trying to knock people's head off. We faced McAvoy. He was trying to take Bennett's head off with 6 minutes left in the series. And it's like hunting Carlos huge and wiping people out in front of the net, and sometimes taking bad penalties, which Norris might do, and Kane might do in this series. Just keep an eye out on that. And we had to go against Hedman and against Chernak, against the Lightning. We've gone against big defensemen and physical defensemen, and we know we're going to get hit, and that's some of that's going to happen. But again, what they have not faced is what our forwards are bringing. We're not the Canucks. We're not the Kings who sit back and can score. And we're not Dallas that, quite frankly, they're a great team, deep team. And it's a matchup thing. I think Dallas actually is the worst matchup for the Panthers and the Oilers, but we'll see. But it's our forwards that hit the forechecking nonstop. And I've seen the Oilers go big stretches without a lot of shots on goal. It happened to you last game. And again, Dallas, I think, didn't play a particularly good game despite dominating the numbers and the advanced metrics. They were overpassing it and stuff and not attacking the net as much as they should have. So anyway, I'm just saying it is going to be a psychologically grinding series, physically grinding. And Tkachuk is more mature. Ben is more mature, more experienced. They're in their prime. It's not going to be as easy for Evander Kane to nullify Tkachuk and this team. Listen, the Flames were a mirage. I'm sorry. The teams that they had, a lot of talent. Their style of play wasn't going to win. We're not built that way. And look at Tkachuk. He doesn't take bad penalties anymore, So if you want to hit him in the face and take a penalty, he'll gladly take it with a smile and then score on you or set up a Reinhardt goal. So I'm just saying all that, man, because I've been reading all these comments about, the Panthers know what's coming. Nobody watches us. And I'm getting a vibe that you guys don't really know what's coming either, actually. And I do feel, again, like I know what's coming. I know we got to contend with your top two lines. We got to contend with my David Draisaitl. Hyman in front of the net has been a beast. And I know Skinner's probably been better than most people think. I don't think that anybody should discount that. And the Oilers have shown the last couple of games that they can play that kind of tight and kind of park the bus and kind of play more defense. But that's not their identity. That's not who they've always been. And their advanced metrics are strong. They deserve to be here. I'm not trying to say any of that. They deserve to be here. But from a matchup perspective, again, it could go either way. It's the finals, two talented teams. There's no shame in losing to McDavid, I think, if you're the Panthers. But I just want to name, and I'm seeing a lot of Oilers fans discounting the Panthers, not kind of understanding what's coming. We may not have the big names. I know you remember Tkachuk from the Flames days or whatever. I don't think you understand what Barkov's going to bring. I don't think you understand our third line was our best line the last two games against the Rangers. I don't think that you understand that we are prepared to handle power plays. We're prepared to be disciplined. We're prepared to forecheck relentlessly, that we have very good skill players, scoring players, that we play a very organized game, that we don't mind tight games, and that we can capitalize on some things. And, I know it's just a regular season, but we did beat you 5-1 and 5-3 this season because there's a lot of space for our forwards when we play you guys. So, anyway, just make sure your forwards don't turn it over at the blue line because it's going to hurt. We're the best team at turning defense into offense in the league. And you guys tend to do that a lot. It's just that the other teams forgive you because they also turn it over. Dallas turns it over a lot. They do a lot of overpassing, pretty passing. Panthers don't play that game. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. Emotional response, getting myself fired up. But, look at the numbers. Dig into the numbers a bit. The advanced metrics, the Panthers are a little bit ahead in the playoffs of the Oilers in most categories. And we face, I think, the tougher competition, the better goalies, the better defenses. We have a strong identity. We've been here last year. We don't mind playing any kind of style that we need to do or adapt to. And our style is something that I'm just curious to see how your team reacts when they face what we're going to bring, which I don't think outside of Vegas, there's a in Vegas they beat you last year, but there's not a comparison. And we're deeper than we were last year when we lost to Vegas, way deeper and more experienced. So yeah, I'm just trying to get a little bit, getting myself fired up, annoyed. I think we can match up. I think we can score with you. I think we can defend better. I think we can hit with you. I think our goalie's pretty good too. I think that much like you think there's an East Coast bias, there's a Canadian bias, there's a McDavid bias. There's bias everywhere. So, just putting it out there. We'll see how it goes. We'll do another probably preview, a more reasonable preview, maybe dig into the numbers with my brother a little bit more and break down some things, maybe less emotional later this week before Saturday. So keep an eye out for that video. Yeah, but for now, if you're an Oilers fan or not, if you want to pass this on to an Oilers fan, get them a little bit riled up, feel free to do that. From the Florida Hockey Bros, just trying to grow the channel and trying to have these conversations, trying to get ourselves excited. But yeah, just wanted to point to a few things that I think are being missed on the other side. And again, it goes both ways. So yeah, we'll see you Saturday. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, keep an eye out for all the things that I've mentioned and see if they're true or not. All right, peace.